Very good. So Mlima is a tribe?
Is a region.
Is a region. Can you please name for me the counties in that region?
Several.
Central is not a county.
I've said several.
Several, there are 10 actually. Read them out.
Kiambu, Rana, Nyeri, Embu, Rakanithi, Meru,
Nakuru,
Nakuru,
Laikipia,
which are one?
The 10. Now go with me to page 417. Is a letter. Can you see that? Page 417 of volume Office of the Registrar of Political Parties.
Yes.
And it is signed by our professional colleague, Professor Kithure Kindiki. Can you see that? Council for Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition.
Yes.
You can see that.
Yes.
Is a paragraph beginning with subtly. Can you please read out for me the parties that were constituent parties of Kenya Kwanza?
Subsequently, on 12th April 2022, the following political parties were admitted and signed to join the coalition pursuant to 24 the coalition agreement: Chama cha Kazi, Communist Party, Devolution Party of Kenya, Economic Freedom Party, Farmers Party, the Service Party, Democratic Party of Kenya.
Thank you. If you go with me to the first of those coalition agreements, it is to be found at page 418. Can you see that?
Yes, I'm there.
At the very top there, under the date, who
Is null and void to the extent of the inconsistency.
So this is the master agreement of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. Is that correct? Yes or no? No. Why these agreements are signed and under what law they are signed?
Yes, I know. For various reasons. Number one is...
No, I asked you the law. Now, do you know what specific section requires a coalition agreement and what is to enter into? Schedule 3. Does that ring a bell for you?
The Schedule 3 is what states what the elements of a coalition agreement.
As a member of the Kenya Kwanza coalition, according to you,
yes,
are these coalition drawn in accordance with the law?
Yes, they are.
So they are lawful?
Yes, indeed.
They are enforceable?
Yes, indeed.
They are the basis upon which Kenya is governed?
Basis upon which Kenya Kwanza coalition is run.
Is governing the country?
The country is governed by the Constitution of Kenya.
Correct. But the Kenya Kwanza government that is governing, these are its constituent documents. This is the foundation of Kenya Kwanza.
But they are not superior to the Constitution.
I did not ask for an argument. I asked, is this the foundational constitution? You've just read about it saying that it is.
It is the coalition agreement for Kenya Kwanza, yes.
Thank you very much. Would you know whether Maendeleo Chap signed any agreement to enter the Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes.
You did?
And they did sign.
Are you familiar with the contents of that agreement?
Yes, I am.
You are?
Yes.
Are you certain about that?
Yes, I know.
Very good. Then let's first go to the documents we're reading here. Let's begin at page 426.
Page 426?
Yes.
I am here.
Article 19, can you please read the heading?
Article 19, sharing of county assembly responsibilities, stock leadership.
Sharing.
Sharing.
Very good. Article 20, please read the heading again.
Sharing of leadership of parliamentary committees.
Sharing.
Yes.
Let's go to Article 21.
Sharing of national government responsibilities.
Let us start with A. UDA shall nominate the coalition's presidential and deputy presidential candidates in the general elections of 9th August 2022. Did UDA provide the president and deputy president for Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes.
They did.
Yes.
So that part of the agreement was implemented.
Yes.
Very good. And then you can see at Article 21, the functions of the deputy president is to chair committees, oversee implementation of cabinet decisions, and so on. Would you know whether this particular section was implemented or not?
In terms of the functions of the deputy president?
Yes. Would you know?
Yes. To the best of my recollection, it was put into effect through an executive order.
So that was also implemented?
Yes.
Go with me to page 428.
Page 428?
Yes.
We are here.
F. Can you see F at the top there?
Yes, I can see F.
A and C shall nominate the prime cabinet secretary for appointment by the president of the republic. Did the leader of ANC, was the leader of ANC nominated and appointed as the prime cabinet secretary?
Indeed.
That is correct.
Prime cabinet secretary and cabinet secretary for foreign affairs.
You can confirm the name. What's the name?
His name is Musalia Mudavadi.
Mudavadi. Yes, very good. And the functions you see at J and I, was that also implemented?
Yes, they were implemented.
Very good. Let's go to page 429.
Page 429, yes.
Paragraph L at the top.
Paragraph L at the top.
Ford Kenya shall nominate the Speaker of the National Assembly for election in accordance with the Constitution. Did Ford Kenya nominate, and was the nominee in fact elected as the Speaker of the National Assembly?
Indeed.
Indeed. That was also implemented?
Yes.
Very good. Now, let us go to N.
This case again.
N.
ANC and Ford Kenya shall have 30%
This case is
share of
falling apart.
positions in the
It's
national
falling
government,
on its
including
face.
cabinet
This is
secretaries,
embarrassing.
principal secretaries,
keep on listening.
ambassadors, high commissioners, heads of diplomatic
Kaur,
missions,
and others.
chairpersons of state corporations, directors of state corporations, and chairpersons and commissioners of constitutional commissions, provided that their for sale 30% share positions in the national government shall be shared equally between ANC and Ford Kenya.
Who would be the appointing authority for those positions?
Well, different office orders.
Remember,
Some
you're a lawyer.
Some by the president.
Yes.
Others by cabinet secretaries appointed by the president. And
In
others,
fact,
and
all
others,
these,
and
in
others,
fact,
and others through Public Service Commission by way of competitive.
now, but ANC and Ford Kenya were promised 30% share positions in all these positions.
Indeed.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, they have a 30% share.
Yes.
So when you hold shares, what are you called?
Okay. In a company, they are called shareholders. I do not know what they are called in a political party.
I'm talking about English. When you hold shares, what are you called?
Shareholder.
Thank you very much. So ANC and Ford Kenya are 30% shareholders in Kenya Kwanza, correct or not?
They are 30%.
You have just told us when you hold shares, you're a shareholder. Please, Mr. Mutuse, do not fear. Speak the English.
Okay, they are 30% shareholders.
They are 30% shareholders.
Yes,
Thank you. Let's go to Article 22.
but not in a company.
Mr. Mutuse, please answer the questions when you asked. Let's go to Article 22.
My apologies.
Let's go to Article 22. Please read paragraph, the one that begins with pursuant.
Pursuant to the principles of equity, national development, and fair allocation of national resources, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance administration shall endeavor to fulfill the following developmental obligations in the ANC and Fort Kenya strongholds of Western Kenya within the electoral period starting 2022 and ending in 2077 on a priority basis.
Stop there. Please tell me, what are the ANC and Fort Kenya strongholds in Western Kenya? As a member of the coalition, please tell us.
Come again?
What are the Fort Kenya and ANC strongholds in Western Kenya?
Western Kenya.
Yeah. Read for us the counties.
Or you want counties?
Of course.
That would be the county of Bungoma, the county of Kakamega, the county of Vihiga, the county of, which other one?
I am the questioner, you're the motion mover. Please answer. Now,
Primarily those ones.
These are priority projects for one region, correct?
Yes.
And this is a shareholders agreement, correct?
This is a coalition agreement.
Coalition agreement. It says shares. You just told us that here yourself.
Because it has a heading.
Now, let's read the projects. Go to A.
Completion of all existing incomplete or stalled bitumen road projects within the aforesaid counties is at 9th August 2020.
Let's stop. These are projects for one region, correct or not?
Yes.
Would you say, as you have alleged here, that by Kenya Kwanza focusing on one region, certain projects, what you're accusing the deputy president of saying must be implemented, how does that cause disunity or ethnic strife? As a member of Kenya Kwanza, you're a member, you're the one who saying this. Tell us what you had in mind.
This is in promotion of regional inclusivity of all regions in the national development.
But we're talking about Western here. Can you please show me in this document where other regions are mentioned? Please go through it quietly. Take a minute. It ends at page 433. It starts at page 418. Show me one other region mentioned there by name in the whole document.
This is a coalition agreement specific.
Please, Mr. Mutuse, answer my question. Is there any other region mentioned by name in this document?
There is no other region.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mutuse.
Mr. Mutuse, please.
Mr. Mutuse, please answer.
Region.
Focus to my question. Is there any other region?
Not in this document.
Thank you very much. That was my simple question. Let's go to page 434. Who are the signatories to this agreement?
Several.
Name them.
William Ruto.
Yes.
Musalia Mudavadi.
Yes.
Moses Wetangula. Veronica Maina. Simon Gikuru. And Chrysanthus Wamalwa.
And it is witnessed by who?
Professor Kindiki.
Do any of these persons bear the blame as you pile on the deputy president for causing ethnic strife by focusing on one region in a document?
None of them has made pronouncements to similar to.
They're in the document. This is an agreement, and it has been implemented.
And none of them has a motion on the impeachment.
So let me understand this, and be careful with the answer here.
Yes.
Your problem with the deputy president is that he spoke out aloud what was written in the agreement that formed the government. Yes or no?
There is no way I've.
No, yes or no, Mr. Mutuse?
The deputy president has not said the people of Western have not been given what.
No. He spoke about shares. We've read. He said everybody deserves their share. So it is in the agreement you've confirmed.
But we have also to be faithful to the agreement.
have to be faithful to an agreement that gives shares.
A coalition agreement.
But we mustn't talk about it.
The Deputy President is not accused of saying the people of Western Kenya have not gotten their share.
Let us go back to your document, Mr. Mutuse.
Please.
Go back to page 7.
Page 7 of volume?
Page 7 of volume 1.
Yes, there we are.
A government is like a company. I did not say it is a company. I said it is like a company. In every company, there are shares, preferential shares and ordinary shares. When there's an AGM, non-shareholders do not vote or attend. When there are dividends to be divided, they're divided according to the number of shares. This is the truth. A government. And this is the government being formed here. So, Mr. Mutuse, are you saying that the problem is that the Deputy President spoke out aloud what was written in an agreement deposited with the registrar of political parties and which formed the government?
I am not saying that because there is nowhere in the coalition agreement we spoke about a company.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to the agreement at page 435.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
What is this agreement? Who are the parties to this agreement?
Kenya Kwanza Coalition
Yes.
and Pamoja African Alliance Party,
Yes.
otherwise abbreviated as PAA.
PAA. Let's go, if you don't mind,
Yes.
to page 438.
Page 438.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you see Article 7?
Yes, I can see Article 7.
Please read what it says.
Priority projects and programs.
Mhm.
Upon winning the presidential election scheduled for 9th August 2022, the coalition administration shall ensure the following within the 2022-2027 development cycle. You want me to read all?
Or let me make it short for you. Between Article 7A
Yes.
and 7I,
Yes.
I want you to tell me whether any other region other than Coast is mentioned in those priority projects. This is page 438 of volume
Want me to check?
volume 3.
Want me to take a minute to read?
No, just please flip through in a second. It shouldn't be long. Let me help you. There's none. All of them deal with cost. Can you see that?
D is broad. It says involve local communities in the management, benefit sharing of the resources associated with the blue economy.
Do you know what blue economy refers to?
Yes, I do.
Is there a blue economy in Makueni?
There is a blue economy in Kisumu.
Very good. So this deals, other than the D, the rest of it is all cost.
Well, reverse operational changes that have been carried out in the recent past, whose effect has been to relocate some of the core activities. Well, basically, cost, but also with a national, with a national nature.
You can read them for yourself, their cost. Now let's go with me to Article 8 at page 439.
Page 439, Article 8.
8A. It says that PAA shall nominate a candidate for the Speaker of the Senate. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Page 439, paragraph 8A. You can see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Did the candidate nominated by PAA in fact become the Honorable Speaker of the Senate?
Indeed.
He did. Let's go to Article 9. Please read Article 9A.
Sharing of responsibilities in the national government. Upon the coalition winning the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in the general election scheduled for 9th, PAA shall submit one qualified nominee for appointment as principal secretary in accordance with the applicable law and procedure for appointment.
So PAA was allocated one principal secretary position as its share of national government. Is that correct?
According to this agreement, yes.
Thank you. Let's go to a very interesting one. Go to paragraph 9C.
Yes.
Please read 9C.
PA shall be entitled to nominate other qualified persons for appointment for positions in the national government, including principal secretaries, ambassadors to high commissioners, chairpersons of state corporations, chairpersons of constitutional commissions, and other appointive officers commensurate with the number of members of National Assembly and senators that will be elected on per ticket vis-a-vis the total number of elected under the ticket of other coalition constituent parties.
In simple English, when the number of the national government positions for PSs, ambassadors, state corporations, and etc., including constitutional commissions and other appointing offices, will be allocated to PA commensurate with the number of members of National Assembly and senators. Doesn't that mean that PA will be allocated positions based on how well it does in the election? Yes or no?
Yes.
Let us go to page 440 again and 441. Can see that?
Yes, I can.
Again, you can see it signed by the party officials. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see.
His Excellency the President, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Senator of the National Assembly, my village mates and Senator Veronica Maina, Simon Gekuru, Chrysanthus Wamalwa, Ibrahim Mutwafi, and Benedict Furaha. You can see that?
Yes, I can.
And you confirm this is an agreement of the Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes, between Kenya Kwanza and PA.
Honorable Speaker, I'd now like to play a video. This is video number 7 in the Deputy President's documents.
Hapa Murang'a mumenipatia waziri ambaye anasimamia fedha yote ya Kenya. Anaitwa Profesa Njuguna Ndung'u. Hapa Murang'a mumenipatia chairman ambaye anakusanya ushuru yote Kenya. Anaitwa Bwana Maura, anatoka hapa Kandara. Na nyinyi watu wa Murang'a, waziri wa maji ndio huyu yuko hapa. Kwa hivyo kama kuna watu shareholders wakubwa wa hii serikali ni watu wa Murang'a. Na hiyo kazi ingine yote tutahakikisha kwamba inatimia.
Stop there.
Watu wa Murang'a tumekubalia.
Honorable Mutuse.
Answer.
Who was speaking in that video?
President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto.
What words did he use? What did he say to the people of Murang'a?
But he has appointed many of their locals into his government.
Did he say, nyinyi watu wa Murang'a ni shareholders wakubwa wa hii serikali?
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes.
And what, among other things, is one of the primary duties of the Deputy President?
To deputize for the president.
To assist the President.
Yes.
When the Deputy President assists the President in talking about shareholders, how does that become an impedance that does not attach to his principal, the President?
That is not one of the functions assigned to the President by the Constitution.
It is one of the functions in your founding documents. So he's assisting him in that function. It's politics. What is the problem with that? He's the deputy party leader. For order.
Well, I wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't know.
Yes.
Let me ask you, before you filed this motion of yours, which my colleague Elisha Ongoya calls false, he used some other words.
I can remember them.
You can remember them.
Yes.
You want to, now that you know what you have done, what are they?
I can remember Ongoya's words.
What are they? Now that, describe yourself. What was it used?
Go ahead. You can ask him for assistance.
Now, when you say that the Deputy President used words in support of something he himself said, how come insubordination?
I have not said that the Deputy President used words in support of what the President said.
So when the President says to the people of Murang'a and not to the people of, say, Makueni, that nyinyi ni shareholders wakubwa wa serikali, Is the president's words likely to incite ethnic hatred, violence? Rwanda, are the president's words likely to turn us to Rwanda, as you suggested?
The president is not on trial.
Sorry?
The president is not on trial.
Oh, I see. So his assistant who assisted him do the thing.
Counsel for the deputy president, you have 30 minutes.
I'm most obliged, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Mutuse,
Yes.
by assisting the president in something the president said, signed, and effected most of these appointments, would you confirm with me that most of these appointments, for example, principal secretary, were made by the president?
Yes, indeed.
Cabinet secretaries were appointed by the president.
Yes, indeed.
In fact, under the Constitution, does the deputy president have any power to appoint anybody? Sorry?
Not expressly.
No. If it's by insinuation, tell me where, which law, what law are you talking about?
The president can sign an instrument for him to deputize by way of signing an instrument of appointment.
Sorry?
Maybe the president can delegate some power of appointment.
Are you aware of any power delegated in this government?
I am not.
Is there any you know of?
I am not.
You're not aware of any?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the other allegations
Yes.
is that the deputy president, in these utterances, thereby ensured that other regions did not have adequate development. Is that correct?
That they have the potential to discriminate.
Potential.
To discriminate.
Let me ask you something, and this is a question not just about this allegation, about the companies you said, about all the things you've said here.
Yes.
Before you filed your motion,
Yes.
did you write to the deputy president to ask him to explain himself?
I was not under obligation to do so.
You are not.
So I did not.
I want you to go with me to page 431.
Page 431 of volume.
Volume 1, the same volume we're reading here.
Volume?
Volume 3.
Page 431.
Yes, page 431.
I'm on book.
You're there, page 431.
Page 431, yes.
Can you see Article 26?
Article 26, yes.
Yes. It deals with dispute resolution.
Yes,
Does Kenya Kwanza have a dispute resolution mechanism?
I believe so.
Did you attempt to invoke that mechanism?
This is not a dispute. This is not a coalition dispute.
Okay.
It's
It's
not a coalition dispute.
I asked this question because I asked you, did you ask the deputy president why he said any of these things? Whether he was acting on presidential instructions or why was he doing it? Did you ask?
I did not.
You did not ask him.
I did not.
Did you ask him about these companies you are saying, what he does with them?
I did not.
You did not. Did you ask him about these companies, these parcels of land? Did you invoke your Article 35 rights to find out the truth?
I did not.
So you just jumped straight into these allegations with a motion that has animated the whole country with rumors.
There is no requirement for me to write to the deputy president to ask for any clarifications.
Let me get this right. You're saying there was no obligation on you to verify the facts before filing the motion.
I verify them with the necessary organs of the state.
What are the necessary organs of the state you verify them with?
Registration of companies.
Yes.
They are able to verify ownership with the business registration services
Yes.
and others.
All right, let's go to another area now. I want you to go with me to page 497 of volume 3. Please go with me to page 497. Go to page 497.
Yes.
You're with me there?
Yes, I am.
Page 497, can you read at the top there what it's called?
Kenya
Yes.
North and Northeastern Development Initiative,
Yes.
NEDI.
NEDI.
Mission Aid Memoir,
Yes.
March 27th
Yes.
to April 6, 2023.
As far as you're aware, does the deputy president come from Northeastern Kenya?
No, it doesn't.
He does not. If you go with me, you can see this is about frameworks for how that area will be developed. But I want you to go with me first and foremost to page 500 and page 501.
500 and 501.
Yes.
Yes.
You can see that?
Yes.
Now, you can see there are 28 programs that were being undertaken under that program. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
You can see that.
Yes.
Now, go with me then to page 502 and 503.
502 and 503.
Yes.
A list of participants.
A list of participants. You can see that.
Yes.
The top 10 participants are from which office?
Office of the Deputy President.
And there are many other leaders of Kenya there. Can you see that? Page 502 and 503.
And people from different communities, I can see.
You can see that.
Yes.
I want you now to go with me to page 505.
Yes.
Can you see Annex 2 at the top there?
Active NEDI projects data.
You can see that.
Yes.
It lists a name and then it has World Bank funding financing US $1 million. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Can you see NEDI share in US dollars?
Yes.
If you could get your assistant as I lead you in another area to do the totals and confirm that the total for the World Bank funding is $3.8 billion, the total World Bank funding for the country. Okay? Your assistant there can help with a computer, which is 514 billion Kenya shillings. Okay? The NEDI share being supervised by the Deputy President in that column, he can confirm as we go on over something else, is $1.99 billion. The percentage of dollars allocated to the NEDI area is 52% of the national figure. Okay? Would you say that is marginalization by the Deputy President's office?
This is not a program by the Deputy President. It is program. It is a program by the government of Kenya.
Fantastic. You raise a very important point. You know, government has no money. Government has taxpayers' money.
Indeed.
The question is how it uses it.
Yes.
It borrows money and taxes.
Yes.
This program is run by the Deputy President's office.
Yes.
So all I am asking is a program run by the Deputy President where 52% does not go to the region he comes from. Is that likely to cause ethnic hatred? Is that discrimination? That's my question to you.
No, it is not.
Thank you very much. Go with me now to another area. Go with me to page 410.
Page 410?
Yes, 410. Honorable Mutuse.
Yes, Council.
You have said that the Deputy President acted beneath his office and violated his oath of office by criticizing the Director General of the National Intelligence Service.
Yes.
In public.
Yes.
And you say that is a terrible thing.
Yes.
It's the worst thing a Deputy President can do.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you go with me to the constitutional provisions that deal with security, I believe that's Article 2. The National Security Agencies.
National Security Council.
Not the National Security Council.
Or National Security.
Article 238. Please read, if you will, Article 239. Do you have the Constitution there with you?
I do not have at the moment.
I will lend you mine. Please read Article 239, sub-article 3.
239, sub-article 3, national security organs. In performing their functions and exercising their powers, national security organs and every member of the national security organ shall not act in a partisan manner, further any interest of a political party or cause, or prejudice a political interest or political cause that is legitimate under this Constitution.
Thank you. And so if a senior member of any security agency were to, if I could have back my Constitution, if a senior member or any member really of any security agency were to engage in that activity, that would be unconstitutional.
Indeed.
It would be worthy of criticism.
Indeed.
Now, Mr. Mutuse, you are a lawyer and a leader in this country. Are you familiar with Kenya's first director of intelligence, Mr. James Kanyotu?
Mr. James Kanyotu, I have heard much about him.
Are you familiar with a saga in Kenya called the Goldenberg Commission?
Yes, I am familiar with the Goldenberg Commission.
Was Mr. Kanyotu brought before the commission to explain his role in that commission and his role in that saga?
But not in office.
I'm asking, was he brought there?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much. You're familiar with the former director of intelligence called Brigadier Gachagua?
Yes, indeed.
During the Waki Commission, there was Brigadier Gachagua called to give evidence before the Waki Commission to explain the role of the security agencies in post-election violence?
Yes, in a commission. He was summoned.
In a commission,
summoned by a commission.
A public commission.
Public commission,
yes.
That was formed pursuant to the laws of Kenya.
Okay. Number 6. Now, you're with me at page 410.
410, yes.
You can see that is a newspaper article.
Yes.
What is the headline?
This is on the face of it.
It can only be on the face of it, Mr. Mutuse. We don't need to use extra adjectives to explain obvious things. What does it say?
I was locked out of Security Council meeting 3 years ago.
Thank you. What is the date of that article at page 410? It's on the extreme right.
This is on 7th of July.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go to page 411.
Page 411.
Yes. Please read that article in full.
UDA presidential candidate William Ruto on Thursday said he was excluded from attending the National Security Council meeting 3 years ago. The National Security Council brings together the President, Deputy President, Defense, Foreign Affairs, and Internal Security Cabinet Secretaries, the Attorney General, Chief of Defense Forces, the Director of National Intelligence Service. Ruto made the revelations while explaining his take on the ongoing extrajudicial killings in the country.
Stop right there. When you played your video, you said that the problem was that the Deputy President had discussed issues of security at a time when we were having what were called the Gen Z protests. Is that correct or not?
That is one of the problems.
That's one of the issues.
Yes.
Now, the Minister for Interior was before the National Assembly last week, I believe it was, or the other week.
Yes.
And said that 42 people died during those protests. You recall?
I do not have that, but we take it as you put it.
He said 132 people are missing.
Okay.
Are you aware that cases have been filed in court, including one where the Inspector General of Police was cited for contempt over allegations that the security agencies were abducting Kenyans?
I am aware of the matters in court.
Are you aware that during these protests, property of immense value was lost?
Yes, I am aware.
Did the President of the Republic of Kenya dismiss his entire cabinet as a consequence of those protests?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Are you aware, as a member of parliament, that the World Bank and the IMF, as early as January 2024, sent a document to the government, a public document available on the website, indicating that the introduction of the reforms in the Finance Bill 2024 would lead to protests? Are you aware of that?
I am not aware.
Now, if the World Bank and the IMF had warned the government in January 2024 that there would be protests, what should a responsible government have done in the intervening period?
The government is not on trial. Regarding Gachagua is...
That is not my question. My question was, what should a responsible government and security agencies have done?
I can't tell because I am not part of them. I'm not in the executive.
I see. Let's go back to my article at page 411. There is a sentence beginning at the same time. Start there.
At page 411, at the same time, the DP also revealed that Director of the National Intelligence Service no longer picks up his course.
Mm-hmm.
This, he said, has made him unable to play a key role in ensuring an end to the judicial killings in the country, as well as the runaway insecurity in some parts of the country.
Stop right there. Go to page 412.
Page 412.
In the middle, there's a sentence beginning with the words, he reiterated.
He reiterated that the remarks he made in a campaign rally in Moyale, that he will ensure.
Read, finish.
That will ensure end to extrajudicial killings.
So the deputy president at the time is criticizing the entire National Security Council and even disclosing, and Kenyans didn't know this, that the director of national intelligence no longer picked up his calls. And this is being made at a rally in Moyale. Between that and the deputy president addressing a national crisis that was foreseen, please explain to me what the difference between those two situations is.
There's a huge difference. Number one, he begins by saying he has been locked out of National Security Council meetings. Honorable Gachagua has not said that he has been locked from National Security Council meetings. Number two, he goes ahead and says the Director General of the National Intelligence Service no longer picks his course. Mr. Gachagua does not say the Director General of the National Intelligence Service no longer picks his course.
I see, but they're talking about the Director of National Intelligence.
And our case is that...
And they're discussing things the public don't know yet, correct? Yes or no, Mr. Mutuse?
The context is...
No, yes or no, Mr. Mutuse?
It's distinguishable. Very,
yes,
very
yes or no?
The context is very different.
Very good. Now, you say that at this speech, the deputy president revealed secrets. What specific secrets did he reveal?
He said, and the clip that was played, that he has been told in confidence by officers of the National Police Service. I have been told in confidence that the officers did not receive advanced security information, intelligence on the planned protests.
And this is subject to the Official Secrets Act. You can confirm this.
The oath of office is that if issues are revealed to you in secrecy, you are not supposed to make them public.
And when you made this allegation yourself, who are these officers you're saying made these secrets? You gave them these secrets?
The deputy president, in the clip that we played, from his own mouth, says, I have received confidential information from officers of the National Police Service.
Let us play for you a video here, Honorable Speaker, video number 6.
We have the most incompetent Inspector General of Police, I think, in the world. The most incompetent in the whole world. His incompetence may not necessarily play out when things are working, but when things get to a head and you need some decisions to be made, I can tell you for sure, the gentleman we have as an IG cannot make any decision.
The second one.
Tumwambie ule mtu wa sinema mingi anaitwa nani ule mtu? Ule sijui anaitwa DCI, ule anaitwa nini? Ule mtu anaitwa Kinoti. Awache ujinga. Huyo bwana Kiboti awache ujinga. Sio kama tunaelewana. Huyo Kinoti hakuna kitu amefanya kwa hii kesi ya kisiasa. Yeye ni mtu ya sinema. Anaendesha makesi kwa magazeti. Anatuandikia barua, sijui barua ya kilomita ngapi. Mr. Kinoti, please save your time. Stop writing to us long letters. Leave matters of elections to IEBC. You have no business in IEBC. You have failed.
as DCI, we don't want you to fail our elections. Tunaelewana? Huyo bwana Kinoti awache hiyo ujinga yake anaendesha pale, kwa sababu natukasirisha. Huyo bwana Kinoti tunataka tumwambie awachane na watu wa IBC wafanye hiyo uchaguzi. Alipatiwa kazi.
You can stop there.
Yes.
Do you recall in the 2 years the deputy president has been in office,
Yes.
where he called any public servant in the security sector awache ujinga?
I don't recall.
Not one.
But I also know
I'm asking us, I just asked you a simple
this was on a campaign trail.
I just asked a simple question. So you don't recall any?
I don't recall.
Yes. Do you recall him ever speaking in that tone to any officer?
I don't recall.
Thank you very much.
And there is no motion.
I'll
against
hand
the
over this honorable speaker to my colleague, Mr. Victor Swanya-Ogeto.
Now, counsel, you have 9 minutes for this witness and the other witness that are going to be called.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the senators, I'll be very brief. Mheshimiwa Mutuse, I want to refer you to your motion 45I.
Paragraph.
1. Yeah.
That's paragraph 45.
Paragraph 45I, yes.
Paragraph 45, I.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you read it for us?
Additionally, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his office of Deputy President to exert influence and connive with the unscrupulous Ministry of Lands officials to issue an allotment letter to Amonyoro Investments Limited, a company that he owns, to acquire LR 209/12077 and LR 90923, situated at Embakasi, Nairobi, whose value is estimated at 1.5 billion Kenya shillings or thereabouts. After that, this company used the fraudulently acquired documents to support a court case at the expense of the legitimate owner of the property.
Very good. In your allegation, you have alleged that the deputy president connived with unscrupulous officials of the ministry. Have you placed any evidence to this house or anywhere in the bundles naming those officials?
I did not place, but as far as I can remember, there is information that came through
Mr.
public
Mutuse,
participation.
please, because of time, I think I want you to answer yes or no, so that you can proceed. Have you placed any evidence?
In my motion, no, but
No.
in the
No, thank you.
documents contained
Thank
in
you.
the public
Thank
participation,
you,
yes.
thank you, Mr. Mutuse. Now, how many letters of allotments were given to Wamunyono Investment?
I do not know.
You don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Have you placed to this house any letter of allotment as evidence?
I haven't.
You have not. Okay. I want to refer you to 107, that's volume 3, 107
Volume 3?
of your documents, 107.
Just a minute. Page 107.
107, yes. 107. Are you there? That is NLC determination,
Volume 3, page.
volume 3, page 107.
Volume 3 of our documents or of your document?
Of our documents.
Your documents.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see a letter from the National Land Commission.
Yeah. I want you to read the So do you identify this determination?
Yes, I do.
It's from who?
This is from the National Land Commission, signed by the then chair, Professor Mohamed Sozuri, PhD, OGW, Chairman, National Land Commission.
When was it signed?
It was signed on the 24th day. I presume this 3 means March of 2016.
2016.
Yes.
At that time, was the deputy president in office?
No, he was not in office.
He was not in office.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you will have not influenced the ministry officials to give an allotment, true?
Not as deputy president.
As deputy president. Very well. I want also to refer you to before I refer you to the judgment on that matter, I want you to read the determination of the commission, which is the last page, just last paragraph. Can you read it?
The commission, having listened to both parties and scrutinized the evidence adduced before it, hereby directs as follows. The lease held by Wamunyoro Investments Limited, LR number 209-12077, IR number 90923, is upheld subject to adoption by plenary.
Is upheld.
Subject to.
But is upheld.
Subject to. We read it in whole. Subject to.
Very well.
Adoption by plenary.
Very well. But the determination of NLC have already determined.
It is upheld subject to adoption by plenary.
Very well. So let me refer you to the judgment of that's ELC case number E242 of 2022, which is page 116.
Page 116.
Yes.
Yes.
I want you to go to the judgment of the judge. That's 177.
170?
177.
177.
Yeah, 177. But I want you to look at 176.
176?
Yeah.
Yes.
176, paragraph 440, right? I. Can you read paragraph 440 I?
A declaration be and is hereby issued that the plaintiff is the lawful registered absolute owner of all that parcel of land known as LR number 209-12077, IR number 90923.
Who is the plaintiff? Who is the plaintiff?
Wamunyoro Investments.
Wamunyoro Investment. Okay. And therefore, the judge has determined who is the rightful owner of that property, right? That's right?
Yes, the judge has determined.
Okay. Okay, now, do you want the Senate to further arbitrate on this, on the ownership of this property after that? Is that your position?
Indeed. Our claim is that is you have referred us.
Is that your position?
Yes.
It is your position.
It is our position.
Even after you've seen the determination both from the court and from the NLC.
There is no plenary adoption of the NLC determination. Subsequently, we have made allegations which will be proved that the letter of allotment came long after, and it is the letter that was used to lead the court to make this decision.
Very well. That's all, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much.
I thank you.
Counsel for the National Assembly, you may re-examine the witness. But just to remind you, you have 40 minutes to conclude your entire case.
Mr. Speaker, we have no questions in re-examination for this witness, so we propose to call our next witness. That is Dr. Andrew Mulo.
Very well. Now,
If the clock can
Counsel.
be frozen while we call him, please.
yes, Counsel, before you call your next witness, the honorable senators may want to seek for clarifications from the witness. So I will allow them to do that. When they're done, then you can usher in your second witness.
Much obliged, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, you have 2 minutes to do that. And we are going to do that. I'm going to allocate 20 minutes for that exercise. Senator John Newton. Not present. Senator Sutton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have two clarifications. The first clarification to the counsel for the Deputy President, and is on the matter of the first charge on the issue of shareholding. Can the council, based on Rule 30, of the standing orders, explain the specific relevance of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition Agreement as a piece of evidence? My second question is the Council of National Assembly on the ground number 8, where it is alleged that the Deputy President violated Section 132 of the Penal Code. So maybe we can be told a lot more about whether there was any report made to the relevant authorities as far as this charge is concerned.
Senator Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to seek some clarifications from the Honorable Mutuse. Very fast, Mr. Speaker. First of all, what led him to, if he did, to think of auditing the wealth of the Deputy President? Was he auditing institutions? And if he was auditing the presidency, would he kindly tell us also about the wealth of the President? Number two, Mr. Speaker, who did this particular motion for Honorable Mutuse? And why I ask that, Mr. Speaker, is because every time he's asked a question, he says, I think so, I believe so. He does not give convincing reasons, in my view, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he has listed several companies. And these companies, upon cross-examination, he has said repeatedly for each of them that he has no problem with the companies, apart from saying that he thought that there was an intention to use them for money laundering and some other corrupt activities, Mr. Speaker. So exactly what is it a crime to have, in his understanding, to own companies for the deputy president, any other Kenyan, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, when you look at the affidavit made by one Jomo, Mr. Njomo, about acquisition of Olive Gardens Hotel, with a promise, it is alleged, that the deputy president would buy the same later.
Senator Ojenda. Honorable Senators, condense your thoughts. You only have 2 minutes within which to seek the clarifications. And both teams kindly note down the questions so that once the senators are done raising, we'll come to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the witness, Mutuse, you have been taken to great lengths on the ownership or the shareholding of the 22 companies that you have associated the deputy president with. I want you to just clarify why you included the 22 companies in your impeachment. You set out allegations on several companies. Clarify one, you refer to Olive Gardens Hotel. You refer to the, again, Vipingo Beach Resort in Kilifi County. You set out the CR12 of both. Now I want you to just tell us, or clarify, the significance of the inclusion of these 2 companies. Just clarify that. On the ownership of Queensgate Serviced Apartments, you also seem to raise a number of issues. I want you to also clarify the ownership of Queensgate Serviced Apartments and why you attribute the questions. You asked several questions by counsel on Queensgate. I want you to make a clarification. But let's go to the other question, Mr. Mutuse. In charge number 1, you have referred to the obligation.
Senator Mungatana.
Asante Bwana Spika. Mimi nilikuwa nataka kumuuliza Mheshimiwa Mutuse, mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki, atufafanulie wakati ambapo Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais alipokuwa anazunguka na kusema anapigania haki za Mrima, yeye kama mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki na kama mbunge wa kutoka sehemu ya jimbo gatuzi la Makueni, je, alijisikia ama alijihisi kwamba anabaguliwa ama anawekwa kando katika nchi hii ya Kenya? Tueleze vizuri, tuelewe. Asante, fafanua.
Senator Enokumbo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will have 2 clarifications to seek from Mheshimiwa Mutuse, but because my leader, Senator Governor James Orengo, opened this session with a verse from the Bible, I will also read one from the Bible. The book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 1. You shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. That is the Bible. The Mutuse, I want to know from Mr. Mutuse, 1, is this impeachment motion really and truly your motion? I ask that question, Mr. Speaker, because on all accounts, the witness is unable to prove anything. Is this your motion, or are you called to just sign a motion and to come and defend it here? Secondly, in the oath of office for the deputy president, it is required of him to diligently serve the people of the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The people that reside in the Mount Kenya region are Kenyans. What is so wrong with a Deputy President, a state officer, in defending people from a region in this country and then coming to defend other people in Nairobi and other people in other regions? What is so wrong? What is impeachable about that defense? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Veronica.
Honorable Mutuse, just to clarify a few issues. One, are there any charges for money laundering that have been preferred against the Deputy President? That's one. And then to confirm whether the Asset Recovery Agency, the case of the Asset Recovery Agency that was before Justice Esther Minor, was fully resolved using the consent order. Those two clarifications.
Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I need to seek two clarifications, and one of them is from the Council of the Deputy President. This is in regards to the allegation on ground 4 in terms of the consent that was reached upon for the 200 million. I heard that there was a consent after the Deputy President filed an appeal of the case, which I believe the judgment still stands. Do we have that consent? And in what circumstances led to that consent being agreed upon and the money returned, the 200 million shillings returned to the Deputy President, yet the High Court had already determined that that money were proceeds of corruption? Was it threats? Number two, I'd like to seek some clarification on the concept of shareholding. Is a coalition agreement a company? Is Kenya government a company? Because I was still not very clear about those two issues. Because we've been invited to interpret the coalition agreement of Kenya Kwanza. Yet, every time, based on the evidence presented, all I could hear is the Deputy President talking about people. So are people now part of the coalition agreement? And is the coalition agreement a company, or is it a coalition agreement registered with the Register of Political Parties?
Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to get to understand from a clarification from Honorable Mutuse on the assertion that you made on ground number, on this accusation that you say that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired a dairy farm in Nyandarua County, whether there is any evidence in record that he has a dairy farm in Nyandarua, either the title number of the land or even the, a photograph. I've seen you put photograph of hotels, either a photograph of cows or whatever you'd have in record. Number two, I would also want to know from the Honorable Mwengi Mutuse on this matter that you say the people of Kenya feel that they have been left out, whether there is any evidence in record of people who have complained to the National Cohesion and Integration Commission complaining against the conduct of the Deputy President in as far as the issues that you've raised. Finally, there is one property of the estate of Dirito Gachagua that is referred to as Kuruitu, and I think you have adduced the list of the directors. In your submissions, you said that the only one person who is an executor and is a beneficiary would be Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. In that will, did you see that part of the people who are beneficiaries are the executors? So one of the three, or all the three executors are also beneficiaries. And in the regards to what you have adduced in the Kuruitu property, it is actually one of the executors, not the deputy president, who actually bought that particular property.
Senator Christella Sige.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I'm very, very glad that the Bible has been cited, because I have a couple of verses of my own I would like to also start my contribution with. I take it to Proverbs 17, which I just read yesterday, in fact, Speaker, which say in 14 and 15. 14 says, starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam, so drop the matter before a dispute breaks out. 15, acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, the Lord detests them both. And I'd like to maybe insert, instead of the Lord, I would like to insert the Senate, detest them both, and we have a very upward hill task. My question goes to the witness. In his motion, he has used the Oxford Advanced Dictionary to define gross misconduct. I was just curious to find out why the Oxford Dictionary and not maybe a relevant Kenyan law that defines, if he has one, or perhaps Black's Law Dictionary, which I know all legal counsels also rely upon. Thank you.
Senator Gataya, more fire.
Well, Speaker, I want to seek clarification from the council for the deputy president. I have seen the photos and utterances for His Excellency the President. I need to get the relationship between what is before us and the President for this matter. So can he please explain what is the relationship between what he has paraded for the President and what is before us as a House?
Senator Karungo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My questions directed to Mheshimiwa Mutuse. Welcome to the Senate, the upper house. And my question is, you said the deputy president is tribal because he spoke Kikuyu in Nairobi. Are you aware of Article 7 of the Constitution that says the state should promote local languages? Are you also aware of Article 27 that says no one should be discriminated on the language they speak? Are you also aware of Article 44 of the Constitution that says that every person has the right to use the language of their choice? But again, would you make the same complaint if he spoke in sign language? The next question is, the deputy president has been talking about shares in government, serikali, which we have been shown that the shareholding and the shares were signed by the government officials who are in government. He never talked about the nation, which is Taifa, shareholding of the country. So I would want you to tell me whether you know the difference between the two. And lastly, you have given us a lot of documents, even bank statements, and even payment vouchers. I know you as Honorable Member of Parliament, not necessarily a government agency. How did you access these documents? Yet you know the Supreme Court of Kenya has indicated it is wrong to steal evidence or to unlawfully obtain evidence. We would want you to give us that indication. And also, you said the deputy president was in a company of senators in Nairobi County. I was actually one of them. Kindly refer to Article 96 of the Constitution.
Senator Moses Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, my clarification is on paragraph 47 on the charge sheet. The National Assembly alleges that the deputy president has several proxy companies, and one of them is Agrobrick Investment Limited. In paragraph 48, the National Assembly alleges that Bavika Nathalal Hirani is a proxy of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Could the National Assembly provide some evidence, because ground 7 is framed as serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime? Could there be some evidence to convince the House that there could be reasons to believe so? Finally, on paragraph 74, the National Assembly alleges that the Deputy President has openly sabotaged the state's efforts in agriculture. Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of the Agriculture Committee, and I would be interested to get the evidence that there's been connivance, there's been cartelism, and there's been an association between the Deputy President with the cartels that have frustrated the development of the tea sector. Because the tea sector goes beyond the mountain, it goes all the way to Kisii and areas that neighbor Homa Bay County. And finally, which is this cooperative society whose name has been withheld? Could that information be provided to the Senate? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Goba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My clarification is to His Excellency, the Deputy President, on the issue of the property of the deceased. My question is, does the deceased have any children? Are they of sound mind? And because it appears as though they are not involved in any of the management of the estate of the deceased, and that is the big question, and possibly a clarity that we would like to have from you. Thank you.
Senator Okongo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to seek clarification on what is at page 15, paragraph 41. There is the allegation being made that in the past 2 years, His Excellency the President has amassed a humongous property portfolio estimated at 5.2 billion. I was trying to follow your answers during examination, and I don't know whether you were trying to drop this allegation or if you want to still maintain. I want you to give a proper clarification that links the person against whom you brought the motion, that is the Deputy President, with that allegation of 5.2 billion. I didn't quite see you make a clear clarification in support of that allegation. If you could kindly clarify for me. Thank you.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mstahiki Spika. Ningetaka kumuuliza Mheshimiwa Mutuse, kwa sababu kampuni nyingi ambazo ameorodhesha pale kama ushahidi kwamba ni za watoto wake naibu wa rais Rigathi Gachagua. Wewe kwa sababu umesema umefanya kazi kama wakili, lazima ulikuwa unafanya kazi kupitia kampuni. Ilikuwa ni kwa ajili ya ulaghai ukiwa na bambako, kama wale watoto ambao umeorodhesha pale wote walitengeneza kampuni ili kulaghai pesa kupitisha zile kampuni. Swali langu la pili ni kwamba katika stakabadhi ambazo zimeletwa pale zinaonyesha kwamba waliokuwa wanafaa kupata mgao wa shares katika kampuni, kuna wale walikuwa wanafaa kupata 30%, na ile miradi ilikuwa inafaa kwenda Western Kenya, haikuwa imeorodheshwa kunja Nairobi mahali pengine popote. Unasikia kwamba ulikuwa umegatuliwa kwa sababu umetoka Makueni na ile miradi haikuwa inakuja Makueni. Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, unfortunately, I hear that the Bible verses have been exhausted. But I seek a clarification from my friend, Counsel Macharia, who has helped me to understand complex legal issues before. Counsel, because you have presented a coalition agreement to explain this issue of shareholding, where does that coalition agreement leave members of political parties that are not signatories to the Kenya Kwanza agreements? That is the first question I would want clarification to. Number two, what would be the place
of a coalition agreement that is manifestly unconstitutional or illegal. And the page that you referred us to includes securing positions that are supposed to be competitively filled. For instance, the position of permanent secretaries. Is it your position that in fact these advertisements that we see in the newspapers are just a charade to cover up things that have already been concluded in coalition agreements such as the Kenya Kwanza agreement that you have exhibited here? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Mundegi.
Asanti Bwana Spika, swali langu ni kwa Mheshimiwa Mutuse. Wakati Deputy President kunasemekana aliongea ubaya wa Jaji Maina, ndio tuweze kuangalia kuna njia yoyote, kwa sababu kila mtu ako na uhuru ya kwenda kotini ama kuita wazee ama kutumana. Kuna kitu Jaji Maina alifanya ndio tuweze kuelewa juu ya vile Deputy President aliongea ubaya wa jaji wa huyu jaji. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Fokilifi.
Asante Mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, niko na swala kwa kutaka kufafanuliwa na wakili wa naibu rais. Katika kosa la kwanza lile ambalo lilikuwa limeandikwa gross violation, iko katika kipengele cha 15 katika hii particulars of allegations, kinasema kwamba mimi mnajua msimamo wangu ya kwamba watoto wakiwa wengi kuna wale kwanza akuangaliwa, si mnajua? Alafu anaendelea kuongea kwamba chakula iko jikoni karibu kuiva, watoto ni wengi, chakula ni kidogo, iko na watoto ya nyumbani na iko na watoto wa jirani, iko namna hiyo. Nataka fafanue Kiswahili hichi kinamaanisha nini kutoka kwa huyo client wake. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Now, honorable senators, allow the parties to respond to those clarifications, starting with the team from the National Assembly, and then we move to the team from the Deputy President. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I may, the Honorable Senator Ososi, no question directed to me. Senator Nyutu, what led me to audit the wealth of the Deputy President? I'm just doing my work as a member of Parliament under Article 94 and 95 of the Constitution. Part of my work is to oversight state officers. The Deputy President is one such state officer. I set myself to draft and present an impeachment motion, and I needed to support that impeachment motion with information, nothing else. Why didn't I also audit the President? I was not intending to bring an impeachment motion against the President. If in future another member wants to bring an impeachment motion against the President, I believe they will be at liberty to also do their work in the manner they deem. Who did this particular motion? Yours truly speaking before you, Mwangi Mutuse, the Member of Parliament for Kibwezi West, did the particular motion. You have listed several companies. Yes, indeed, you have listed several companies. And just to clarify, there are those companies that I was led by advocates for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and I said we have no problem with them. But also, there are companies that we have issues with, and we have stated the companies that we have issues with. And you would know, because you have handled impeachment motions in the past, that just because we do not have an issue with one particular company does not mean that those that have been proved also fall with it. But also importantly, why we listed these companies is also to demonstrate character. Character in the sense that if you have one company that is a construction company, then why do you have 3 others that are dormant? Why don't you use just that one that is a construction company to do your construction work? So it was also to demonstrate a web, an intricate web of activity to hide and conceal. And that's why we listed those companies. The affidavit of Jomo, it did not complete because it was time barred, so I do not know what to respond because he just began mentioning about the affidavit of Jomo. Senator Professor Ojiambo, Senator for Kisumu, shareholding of the 22 companies. Yes, we have appended the CR12s for the 22 companies to show that His Excellency the Deputy President has been owning what we are calling special purpose vehicles in the name of companies, either by himself or by his children or other proxies, as part of a character of a web, which is also consistent with the Esther Minor decision, and you can see those companies listed in the Esther Minor decision that are not consistent with the normal way of doing business. Because in the normal way of doing business, you would imagine if, for example, Safaricom, that is a telecommunication company, also under it had another 20 other telecommunication companies. For what purpose? You would ordinarily, a business person would concentrate on one company, it succeeds. Then if you have a different investment that is completely different from what you are doing, is when you open a different company. But all these companies, you look at their objects, you look at everything, they are all made to do the same thing. The question is why? And remember, the offense here is reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed crimes. And we believe this is a good basis to show that these companies are not formed for a legitimate purpose. Senator, in terms of Vipingo and Olive Gardens, Vipingo Ridge, we have been able to demonstrate that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's children are part of the directors, 2 of them. In terms of Olive Gardens, we have been able to demonstrate through the affidavit of Mr. Jomo that Mr. Jomo indeed was acting for the Deputy President in the purchase. And as much as we refer to a future promise of refunds, all of us would know that offenses of corruption and money laundering are not straightforward offenses. And as much as we want to rely on technicality, and it is this technicality that has made it impossible to fight corruption in this country. If we look at it and all of us know how these things have been done, you would definitely see that Mr. Jomo is saying in black and white that he was a conduit for that purchase. We go to the Honorable Senator Mungatana, Senator for Tana River. Haki za mlima kama nilijihisi kubaguliwa. Na nafikiri ni kweli kwamba watu ambao wanawakilisha na mimi mwenyewe pia na Wakenya wengi wanajihisi kwamba kama naibu wa rais ambaye anahitajika kuongea kuhusu masuala ya Kenya mzima, atazingatia tu masuala ya sehemu fulani, basi wale Wakenya wengine wote nikiwa ndani tunajihisi kubaguliwa. Na sio tu, hata wale ambao wametoka sehemu tofauti na mlima, hata wale wa mlima pia wao, you setting them against the rest of Kenyans. Senator Enoch, Exodus 23, Thank you. I will keep it to myself. But I am not participating in any conspiracy against anyone. I am just doing my civic duty as a citizen of the Republic of Kenya and exercising my mandate as a member of the National Assembly, which is a constitutional mandate. I believe senators here also have done in the past, and even now and in the future, they will also bring issues in line with their mandate, in line with their responsibilities as citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Is this motion your own motion? Yes, it is my own motion. And in saying so, you say, I approved nothing. And that is not factual, just to say the least. If you go through the motion 11 grounds, and you look at each grounds, most of the grounds have sub-grounds. And you will see we have given clear evidence in many, many of them. Incidences where we have been able to admit, like for example, on the tea issue and on the Sacco, Madeira Sacco, that by the time of presenting the motion, I had not gathered evidence and the rules do not permit that I present new evidence. I have conceded, but only on those two. That does not mean that I have not proved anything. I have actually proved most of the grounds. So I would be urging my senator for Kitui to also be fair to my case and find that even if only one ground is proved, to also vote for the approval. Because one of the videos that are presented before this house is a speech by the Deputy President at AIC Kitui,
Two more minutes.
Which I believe the senator represents. And in that video, you will see the Deputy President telling the people of Kitui kwamba nyinyi Wakamba hamuna shares. Hata napigana na huyu rais sana, kwa nini anawapatia viti katika serikali? Those are the people that Senator Enoch represents, who the Deputy President told them they do not have a right to be in cabinet. In terms of the oath of office, and it was done right in Kitui town. In terms of oath of office, diligently serve the people of Kenya. Yes, and that is where the problem is. You saw to serve the people of Kenya, not the people of a region. That were Senator Veronica, charges of money laundering. I am not aware of any ongoing proceedings in respect of the DP in terms of money laundering, but I'm aware of that the Justice Minor decision has not been annulled on merit and therefore still remains good law. Senator Ledana Olekina, that was to the DP's lawyers. Senator Methu, my good friend, Nyandarua County Dairy, I consider I have not presented evidence on Nyandarua County Dairy because, of course, of the limited timelines in terms of working on this. NCRC complaining about, the question was whether there has been any complaint to NCIC about the Deputy President's remarks. I wouldn't know because I don't work for NCIC. I wouldn't know, just to be fair. Kuruwitu and CR12, Kuruwitu was bought at 250 million, money that has not been disclosed, its source. And the owners of Kuruwitu is Vipingo Ridge, and we have also demonstrated who are the owners of Vipingo Ridge. You know, money laundering, you hide, it is a web. That's why it has become very difficult sometimes even to investigate money laundering. And there is no dispute that the two sons of His Excellency Gachagua are directors of that company. That has not been disputed. Senator Asigi, why we are using the Oxford Dictionary and not Black's Law Dictionary, law has now also delved to the place of the common citizens also to understand what it is and not the jargon of the past. And so Oxford Dictionary also offers plain English definitions. And we thought it is also good to use plain English definition because not all of us are lawyers. I do not think that it is disputed that the definition we have given is wrong in terms of what constitutes gross misconduct. Senator Karungo, my very good friend also, tribal, speaking in tribal language in Kikuyu, and whether that is not permitted under Article 7, Article 27, Article 44. Clearly, the Deputy President is a state officer and has taken oath to promote national unity. Nairobi is our capital city. All communities are here. It cannot be said that Nairobi belongs to the Akamba, much as we border here, or the Luya, or the Kikuyu. When you speak in Nairobi, you must be sensitive. It is just like speaking in Senate in mother tongue. Shares and company. Clearly, my answer and response is we are not, the Deputy President has talked about Kenya is a company for shareholders. He did not say that Kenya is led by Kenya Kwanza coalition, a political coalition of shareholders. So let us not twist facts. This is an afterthought. There has never been anywhere where the Deputy President said, naongea kuhusu Kenya Kwanza coalition. He has been consistent. Kenya is a company and it will benefit its shareholders. So the coalition agreements that have been adduced before you are an afterthought, are just a diversion, in my view. Access documents, how did I access these documents, including accounts? I got the services of whistleblowers when people knew that I want to do this. I got the services, I got a lot of information from whistleblowers whom I do not intend to disclose their identity because they are protected under the Witness Protection Act. Honorable Kajwang, my counsel will be talking about the issue of Brobika and how it is, that particular director is related, is connected, is linked to the nexus between that particular director and His Excellency, the Gachagua. In terms of agriculture, I did admit I did not present evidence in terms of his sabotaging of the tea, much as I have information, but I leave it at that we have not presented adequate evidence in terms of sabotaging. But Kenyans would know that that role is domiciled in his office, and the price for tea has not become any better. In fact, it is still oscillating up and down. The cooperative society, I also considered, we have not presented evidence. Senator Ogwoka, the question was to the DP's legal team. Senator Omogeni, page 15, paragraph 41, whether I can tabulate, and during our closing remarks, we'll be able to...
Honorable Mutuse, conclude. You have 2 minutes, actually.
We'll be at our concluding remarks, we'll be able to answer this question, but just for your information, the land acquired through Amunyoro Investments is 1.5 billion. The Abadeas, when we added, came to about 1 billion shillings. When you add Kuruitu, 250 million, and others that will be showing 412 million for Olive Gardens, they will all come to the figure that we are talking, or thereabout.
Now allow your
Thank
legal
you.
team to respond to the question directed to them. If at all there are any questions directed to you.
Mr. Speaker, I believe the question was about whether there has been a complaint with regard to ground 8, any report to the relevant authorities. I believe there was a related question on whether the DP has been subjected to any prosecution for money laundering or related offenses. We are not aware of any complaint under Section 132 of the Penal Code to the police or any other relevant authority. Equally, we are not aware of any prosecution that the DP has been subjected to. But in our opening and closing, we'll be showing you it is immaterial whether there has been such a complaint, whether there has been such a prosecution, because when we get there, we'll be showing you the Supreme Court has said times without number, the Court of Appeal has said times without number, that impeachment is about political hygiene, it is about political responsibility, it is not about whether there is criminal liability or whether there is civil liability. And we'll be hoping we can persuade with lots of humility that nothing turns on whether, as a matter of fact, complaints have been launched or prosecutions have ensued. And those are not my words. They are the words of our Supreme Court, as I said, not once or twice, but several times. Thank you.
The legal team of the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I will speak to the questions on the shareholder question. Honorable members, please permit me to answer this in omnibus, but I'll attempt to do my level best on this. The first question was, why is the president relevant in these proceedings as regards shareholders? He's relevant in two capacities, three actually. Number one, under the Constitution, the deputy president assists the president. And so when the president tells the people of Murang'a and elsewhere that they're the biggest shareholders of government, when he signs a contract that founds the government, the deputy president is bound to assist the president in moving that shareholder issue. That's number one. Number two, the Article 73, Subarticle 2, Subarticle C, Roman numeral 1, talks about honesty being a foundation principle for leadership. It is well known, I think I can say it here, my client, the deputy president, is known as the truthful man. It is pursuant to this that he is truthful. Number three, a contract and covenants in a contract must be performed if indeed any government, any contractor worthy of their name, worthy of their signature is to be believed in the future. The president, the party leaders all signed these contracts with the intention that they should be complied with. You will note that in the sections we read out for you here today, the president, the deputy president is insisting that the promises made to the people of Western Kenya should be complied with to the letter. The promises made to the people of Coast in an agreement should be complied with to the letter. Equally, all other regions that had agreements signed or promises made in these coalition agreements ought to have those promises implemented. That is the basis upon which he says it is important that we keep our words. Fourthly, the coalition agreements were in fact executed. The president and the deputy president came from Uda as the agreement said. The Speaker of the National Assembly came from Fort Kenya as promised in the agreement. The Speaker of this Honorable House and a learned friend and colleague was in fact elected as the Speaker of this House. And all the other promises that had been made were being implemented. But more importantly, as a matter of law, agreements that underpin coalition building are actually a legal consequence. They draw their force from the law. And I think Honorable Mutuse here mentioned it broadly, but I can tell you exactly where it is. Schedule 3 of the Political Parties Act requires every coalition to draw a coalition agreement. That is number one. Number two, it prescribes what is to go in that agreement. Among the things that the Political Parties Act Schedule 3 prescribes must be in the agreement is the sharing of power and responsibilities. So it's a matter of the law. And if when the honorable members here retire, you will find that Article 108 of the Constitution delineates power in both the National Assembly and in the Senate on the basis of coalition agreements and who has the majority, who is the largest shareholder, if you will, in each of those two houses. Fourthly, or fifthly, I think it is now, I think we said this before, the deputy president had no power to appoint or implement any of those things. All he could do was speak to the agreements that had been signed by the party leaders. And that's all he was doing. He was expressing what was in the agreements and saying we ought to keep our word. We ought to do what we promised in these documents, which we filed at the Registrar of Political Parties. Sixthly, in the statements that were read to you in the videos, there are two things to note. Number one, the Deputy President is talking about government. He's very clear. He doesn't say the nation. He doesn't say the national cake. He doesn't say resources. He says, just to read for you one example, at page 6 of 85, a government is like a company, government. He's not talking about resources, he's talking about government, and that's all it was. It is important for members to remember, to recall, that these provisions of the law I am sharing with you here followed the famous, or should I say infamous, NAC MOU, which became very litigious. I had the privilege of participating in that case. The famous NAC MOU was set aside because it had no anchoring in law. That was corrected, and that is what these agreements are about. Seventhly, and I think I'll combine this with, although I'll come back to that later, but the Deputy President, in the videos, when you listen to them correctly, says the President needs to work with people who believe in his policy, who believe in his manifesto, who will implement what he had in mind when he campaigned on a specific platform. That's all he's saying. And it's very simple. If you don't believe in my policies, if you don't believe in my manifesto, how are you going to be the one I appoint to implement that? It wasn't about tribes. It was about manifesto, it was about policy, it was about specific issues set out in agreements. Now, political rhetoric might use certain words. Politicians use all manner of words. The party I represented in the last election was called Mganga many times in the campaign trail. But we know he's not a Mganga, you know? So, but it's political talk. Number 8, these agreements were not limited to Kenya Kwanza, as I said, because they're part of the law. The government that preceded Kenya Kwanza, Jubilee, had similar agreements deposited with the Registrar of Political Parties. Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya, had a similar agreement. It's only that they never got to power, but they had a similar agreement. And the reason for this is that even internationally, these agreements are known as power sharing agreements. There's no magic to it. That's what elections are about the division of power. That's what it is about. And because of that, these agreements, in fact, do the opposite of what Honorable Mutuse is saying they did. He says they cause disunity. In fact, they are a source of unity when the diverse sectors of the Kenyan society can get together. For example, Kenya Kwanza, I think, had 16 or so parties. Azimio had 25. The different characteristics of Kenyan society are captured in all those parties. That's what coalition building is all about. And it not only works at national level, even at the devolved level, we have what are called negotiated democracy agreements, like these ones, which take into account clans and that sort of thing. Now, my learned friend, Mr. Sifuna, asked a question about what happens to the others who are not mentioned in these agreements. We have a practical example. Members of his party, ODM, are now in government. The party, the contracts left room for accommodation. My good friend,
Order. You cannot raise a point of order on the council. You cannot. Council, you have 3 minutes to conclude.
Thank you. I just wanted to set the point that the agreements were dynamic, that politics is dynamic, that these things have a way of settling themselves, and they do. The next point I wish to say, I cannot say, I think he asked me the question about, for example, the constitution requiring PSs and others to be advertised. I cannot speak to how Kenya Kwanza intended to implement that, but like I've demonstrated, it was implemented. They found a way to do it. I don't know how they did it, but we're just speaking to what they did. Honorable Stuart Mazayo asked a question about Chakula Kikiva. you will note that a lot of the videos that were played here today were made in Nandi or in Kericho. There was a very specific reason for that, and the Deputy President himself will be addressing that question today. The only other thing I can tell you about those videos is that whenever the Deputy President raises that question, either in Nandi or in Kericho, he is cheered wildly. It is a very popular issue in those two counties. Finally, I think to a question that was asked about how Honorable Mutuse and others would feel, even regions that did not overwhelmingly vote for Kenya Kwanza, including, for example, Machakos, Makueni, and Kitui, actually got 2 cabinet secretaries in the cabinet in the fullness of time. And so no one was actually discriminated against. This was not about tribes. I think the confusion has been brought about by Mutuse's motion. This was about sharing of government and those who believed in the policies of this government. I hope I have attempted to address all the questions you have raised.
Conclude by responding to Senator Olekina's consent issue.
Sorry,
Consent
Senator.
issue.
If you could remind me the question, I'm sorry.
The consent.
Always. The consent is being addressed by my good and learned friend,
Very
Mr.
well,
Elisha
very well.
Boy.
Yes, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, distinguished senators. The distinguished senator for Narok County has asked the succinct questions. Number one, if you look at the petition claimed 2 things. That number one, the Deputy Chief Justice has no respect for the judiciary, which is why he made the allegations that he made against Justice Esther Maina. And number 2, that the the Deputy President, my apologies, lied when he said he was going to file a complaint before the JSC. So you respond to the motion as presented. Now, to respond to that, there was no necessity to file this consent because the consent does not address itself to the claim by the DP that is going to file a complaint against the judge. What then happened, distinguished senator, is that the witness came here and then began taking this court through the judgment of Maina. Now it's altering the claim as presented in the motion, which is why we had now to take him through the issue of the consent. Now that addresses, and so we have not presented the consent before this Senate because the motion as framed did not require the consent to respond to it. But having said that, my learned colleague, the mover of the motion, makes a false statement that a consent does not determine the merits of the matter. In fact, a consent determines the merits of the matter. When you enter a consent and say that the judgment that was rendered by the trial court, you are entering a consent to state a different state of affairs. You are actually vacating that judgment. The trial court had taken the money in question from the DP to the Asset Recovery Agency. The consent took the money from the Asset Recovery Agency back to the DP. That is the substance of the matter. So the argument by the mover of the motion before you that a consent does not settle the matter on the merits is law upside down. Law upright is that a consent settles the merits of the matter that it addresses. Thank you so much.
Now, honorable senators, can I get an indication from Council for the National Assembly? How many witnesses do you intend to call beyond Honorable Mutuse?
Mr. Speaker, we have 3 more witnesses, and while on it, at the point we stopped examining the Honorable Mutuse, you said we had 45 minutes.
Yes, you have.
But when I went there, you said 40, so we were a bit alarmed.
No, you have 45 minutes.
Much obliged.
And the team for the Deputy President, you've exhausted your time, but there was 10 minutes that has been occasioned by the technicality on the videos. So you need to utilize that with the remaining 3 witnesses. Now, honorable senators, Honorable Mutuse is not going to leave. You're going to stay on as we hear the three witnesses. And then if the other clarifications that honorable senators wish to direct to you, please be available. Kindly usher in the second witness.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, we as counsel for the Deputy President would wish to borrow from our time tomorrow, the time you allocated, so that we can be able to effectively cross-examine the witnesses that the National Assembly is going to call now. We don't want to go outside our time, but we need
How much time do you want to borrow from your tomorrow's time?
1 hour.
Keeping in mind that we are rising by midnight.
1 hour will be adequate from the 3 hours we have to
We'll overshoot the runway. 1 hour is a bit too much. We will go beyond midnight.
30 minutes?
Yes, very well. Quickly swear in the witness.
Christian. English. Right hand. I, Dr. Andrew Mulwa, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Sir, would you tell the Senate who you are and your professional background?
My name is Dr. Andrew Mulwa, a medical doctor by profession, working in the Ministry of Health, and previously working the acting CEO, Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA.
Please confirm whether you're the one that saw the affidavit on page 67 of volume 1.
Yes, I am.
In respect of which allegation in the motion did this
This should be interesting. Stay tuned.
I have sworn affidavit on issues raised on paragraph 45J, 78C, in ground 7 and 11 of the motion for removal of the office by impeachment of His Excellency, the Deputy President, Gachagua.
Paragraph 78 of the motion, what does it say? 78A, that would be page 37 of 85.
(78A), to illustrate, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding a tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Limited, his proxy company. Crystal Limited had submitted here it's written a fake bid document with the sole intention to fraudulently acquire public property.
Dr. Mula, did Crystal submit a tender in this procurement for the mosquito nets?
Crystal did not submit a tender for this procurement, but was the local agent for a company called Shapika Impex Limited, which submitted bids, and part of the local documents, like the pesticide control board certificates, were actually submitted by Crystal in the tender document.
So Crystal was actually the one submitting the bids?
There was a reference of Crystal in some of the local documents that the bidder had to submit.
I want to refer you to volume 8A of the Assembly's document, page 18 of 19. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
What is the title of that letter?
It's appointment as local agent for Duranet LLI in Kenya.
This Duranet, is it the mosquito net that was being procured? Or is it a different one?
Duranet was a company that initially used to do that which changed to Shobika. And I think in this letter, it is Shobika writing to confirm that they have appointed Christo as their sole local agent in the country.
What does it say in the second paragraph?
We are pleased to appoint Christo Kenya Limited at State House Avenue, Liaison House, third floor, of PO Box given in Nairobi, Kenya, as our exclusive agents in Kenya for promotion, marketing, and sales of Duranet long-lasting insecticide nets manufactured by Shobika Impex.
Page 17 of that document, what does the second paragraph say?
The change of ownership for Duranet LL9.
Read it loud.
And there's change of ownership for Duranet LLIN, which is alpha cypermethrin 0.55%, WW registration number PCB CR 0189.
I'm referring to volume 8A, page 17. What does the second paragraph of that letter say? Can you read it in full?
We have taken note of the change in ownership of Duranet LN9 from Clark Mosquito Control of USA to Shobika Impex Private Limited, India, and appointment of new agent, Christo Kenya Limited.
The documents we have so far read in volume 8A, sir, do they show a link between Shobika and Christo Limited?
Yes.
Is Christo Limited, to the best of your knowledge, connected to the Deputy President?
From my affidavit, don't know actually that phone call from His Excellency the Deputy President and conversations between myself and his son.
We'll come to those phone calls and conversations, but for now,
I was able to establish that there is a connection.
There is a connection. Let's go to page 10 of 19 of volume 8A. Who has that letter? Page 10 of 19.
10 of 19 is a letter from the Anti-Corruption Commission to myself as the acting CEO, dated 21st of August 2023.
Is this a body that would authoritatively speak to matters of corruption in public procurement?
Yes, it is.
Is it authorized to investigate such matters?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Now, this letter, what was the letter asking you to do at page 10 of 19?
The letter was against procurement officers, Cosmas Rotich, Anton Chege, and Corinne Mugo, who are officers working in KEMSA and participated in the procurement of the mosquito nets.
Towards the bottom of that letter, Roman 1, what does the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission tell you?
It says, and I read, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Technical Evaluation Committee, here abbreviated TEC, recommended the award of tender to Shobika Impex Private Limited, yet their bid was paginated in pencil and what was not sequentially paginated contrary to instructions to tender as clause 20.3, which provided documents to be paginated using indelible ink and marked sequentially.
Does that paragraph you just read show there was corruption or wrongdoing of any type in processing this tender?
That's
All right, just a pause. Just let's just take a break a little bit. I know that witness is going to be cross-examined. I'm waiting for the lawyer's deputy president's lawyer to actually start asking questions. But there's some part of this cross-examination by these lawyers, DP's lawyers, when they were asking Mutuse some questions which I really enjoyed. That there's a place where it was a classic moment. It was like kunywa maji, I know kuna joto, so I know it's getting hot. I want to play that part just for shits and giggles because I feel like this whole case, listen, I don't know. I know I'm not a fan of Gachagua, like I always tell you, but come on, let's just get serious here. There's no case here. This is a political witch hunt, but whatever. It will be madness if the Senate actually proceed and impeach him. But like I said, Deputy Gachagua still has a lifeline. He will be looking at the courts to bail him out on this. But here's a section that I wanted you to hear before I go back to the live witnesses that's going on over here. But let me just play the classic moments, just a little bit of that classic moment when Mutuse was being grilled. And boy, oh boy, let's just check it out. Here it is. Okay, Ndui.
On Vipingo Beach.
Keith Ikino Rigathi, Kevin Gachagua Rigathi, and the estate of the deceased James Derito Gachagua.
Let me go back to the beginning. You're a lawyer by profession.
Yes, I am.
You know the meaning of ownership of a company?
Yes, I do.
How is ownership of a company manifested?
In shareholding and...
Okay. How many shares does Keith Ikino Rigathi hold? According to your own exhibit. It may be getting hotter, but look at the document, compose yourself, and read. How many shares does Keith Ikino Rigathi hold according to your own document?
They are not indicated.
How many shares does Kevin Gachagua Rigathi hold according to your own exhibit?
They are not indicated.
What is the total number of shares in that company?
10,000.
Who is indicated as owning all those 10,000 shares?
There is a shareholding by the estate of the deceased James Derito Gachagua.
It is the estate of the deceased James Derito Gachagua. True or not true?
They own 10,000 shares.
What is the total number of shareholding?
10,000.
They own all the shares.
They own 10,000 shares.
What is the total number of shares in that company?
10,000.
So they own all the shares. The estate of the late James Derito Gachagua owns all the shares according to your document.
It would appear so.
Is it so or is it not so? From your own document.
It on the face of the document, it would appear so.
Do you doubt this document you have given us?
No, I don't doubt it.
Thank you. The deputy president then in defense says, this is a property owned by the estate of my late brother. Is he speaking the truth or not? From your own document. The deputy president says, this is a company owned by the estate of my late brother. Looking at your own document, is the deputy president saying the truth or is he not saying the truth? Remember, you are a lawyer all the time.
The estate of the deceased James Derito Gachagua owns 10,000 shares.
Out of how many shares?
I wouldn't vouch for the truthness of the deputy president's.
Look at the document.
The estate of the late James Derito Gachagua owns 10,000 shares. Out of how many?
10,000.
Mr. Mutuse, you told me you are a lawyer.
Yes.
And let's be lawyers now.
Yes.
When the deputy president therefore says this company is wholly owned by the estate of my deceased brother, is he speaking the truth or not according to the document?
It's either yes or no. We make progress. We move. Honorable Mutuse.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Dang, he was brutal. But Mutuse, you need to find a new job. You cannot represent any constituency in Kenya. You are a national embarrassment. I'm sorry. But let's go back to the witnesses, because the witnesses are talking right now. I think there'll be 3 witnesses, and this thing will go till midnight, which we have like, what, 2 hours left on this thing? So yeah, let's just listen in the witnesses that had signed affidavits that will give their view on this matter. So let's see how that cross-examination and the questions that will be leveled to interrogate them, see if their story hold up, or they'll be check it in. Give me a second here. Sorry, guys, I have noise in the background. I'll be right back. I'm here. I'm trying to get my thing started right here. So just give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades. Whew, it's been a long day. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's loading up, ladies and gentlemen. I lost the thingy. Oh, let me try it again. All right, all right, let's go.
Shobika,
Yes.
telling
Let's
them,
begin with 72. What did you tell Shobika?
Paragraph 2. We would like to inform you that bid bond through a letter dated 12th June 2023.
And the one in 73, in summary, what were you trying to do?
I was requesting the CEO bond for Shobika Impex for Netsina, which we are discussing, requesting.
Sir, give you to know that the matter was under investigation and active investigation for that matter.
I want to believe so.
Lastly, sir, claims have been made on this floor that the allegations against the deputy president transcend the force to the ridiculous to the embarrassing. This material you have taken is it consistent with the narrative that ground 11 of this motion is false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
Through the Speaker, Honorable Senators, what I've presented before this House is the truth, nothing but the truth, and verifiable by document presented.
I want you lastly to read from your paragraph what you told the National Assembly bringing us here. Can you read paragraph 6 of your affidavit, sir? That is page 69 of 85 of volume 1, Mr. Speaker.
It says, given the status, power, threat, and influence of the people involved in the interference with the investigations and cover of irregularities surrounding the procurement of treated mosquito nets, I was constrained to surrender the original bid bond to Ogora Wilson Okulo. And in short, I was caught in a tricky situation. Being a junior, there was nothing I could do as a junior government officer against a sitting deputy president for the Republic of Kenya.
That's all for purposes of the examination in chief of this witness, Mr. Speaker.
Counsel for the Deputy President.
Good evening, Mr. Mulwa.
Good evening.
My name is Dewan Jiro. I'll be asking you several questions in respect to the testimony that you have just delivered. When did you join the KEMSA?
I joined KEMSA on the 17th of March 2023.
Before that, who was the CEO of the organization?
Terry Ramadan.
Terry. Were you there as and when the alleged tender processes were taking place?
No.
Who was in charge of that process as at then?
Terry Ramadan.
Terry Ramadan. Therefore, the issues that you are testifying before this assembly, are they issues that you saw, perceived, or they are issues that you are told?
One, there are issues that
were you told or you saw? It's a simple question.
I was not told.
Yes.
Neither did I see.
At what process you are not told and neither you never saw?
I was involved.
You were involved? At the time you joined the organization, what stage of the tendering process was it?
The tender had just been terminated. There were investigations.
The tender had been terminated?
Yes.
You therefore never participated in that particular process whatsoever, for whatever purpose, yes?
I participated in a very big way.
All right. Would you then lead this assembly to understanding your participation in that tender?
This matter was a matter that, one,
what exactly did you do that relates to this tender?
I participated in the investigations on this tender.
So
by
you participated,
ESCC, by PPRA, by the Senate, by the National Assembly.
But at the time when the bids were alive, the bidding was alive, you had not joined.
I was not in KEMSA.
And therefore the issues you're testifying before this assembly are not issues that you witnessed.
Not issues that I executed.
Thank you. Of any company that is associated with the deputy president that succeeded in this particular tendering process?
For purposes of...
You know or you do not
yes,
know?
Yes, Shobika had been recommended for award, but since it was cancelled, did not proceed.
Was the award granted to Shobika?
No.
Do you know why the award was not granted?
Yes, I know.
Yes,
because Global Fund do a award review of every evaluation of Global Fund funded tenders. And after doing a pre-award review, they did not agree with the technical evaluation committee that had evaluated the tender and recommended for cancellation of the tender.
Thank you. You've answered. So it's as a result of the review of all the bids that culminated into the cancellation of the tender, correct?
Yes.
And how many companies had bidded in that particular process?
I cannot remember, but maybe 9 or 7, I cannot remember.
You cannot remember because you never participated, yes? Yes or no, Mr. Witness?
If I get the record, I remember.
And so show him the records. He has it. Show him his affidavit. In volume 1. In that volume 1, that is at page, Honorable Senators, the National Assembly volume 1, at page 67 and 68. Did you indicate the companies that participated in that process?
Not indicate the companies that.
You chose to conveniently refuse to indicate them, correct? Correct or not correct? I don't need an explanation.
Not correct.
Why didn't you indicate the companies that participated in that particular process?
My affidavit.
Your affidavit has explained it.
My affidavit is premised on.
Okay, I know your affidavit.
Yes.
I have read it several times, but my question is very specific. Why did you leave out the other companies that participated in the process?
For purposes of my affidavit, I did not find it necessary to.
Never thought it necessary. Now, confirm that the company was never a tender.
The tender was cancelled.
Tender was cancelled. Did the Republic of Kenya lose any money as a result of the award not being granted to Shobika?
Yes, it did.
Did the Deputy President have anything to do with it?
Did
the Deputy President have anything to do with it?
I wouldn't say the Deputy President.
I'm asking you. You know, we are here because of the Deputy President. Did he have anything to do with it?
A company related to
I'm asking, did he have anything to do with it? It's a simple question. Yes or no?
I already have.
Yes, and you'll furnish me with an answer.
I've said yes because the company that is associated with him had been irregularly awarded.
Had been irregularly awarded. Do you know that this matter was subject of investigation by Parliament?
Yes, I am.
Did you participate in that investigation?
Yes.
Honorable Senators, refer with me to page 183, volume 3 of the Deputy President's bundle. Volume 3, Honorable Senators. That is the report. Will go with me to page 220. At page 220, Mr. Witness.
Can I get the document?
Give him something. Give him the copy. For him. Volume 3. Page 220. Can you see, confirm that those were the companies that participated in that particular tender, yes?
17 bidders.
At page 220.
Yes, there are some 17 bidders.
How many are they?
17.
Go to page 221 and you read, can you see where it is written 100?
Yes.
Can you read out that statement?
In its report dated 25th April 2023, Global Fund noted that KEMSA had failed to apply evaluation criteria consistently to all bidders and that none of the bidders met the minimum requirements.
None of the bidders met the minimum
requirements.
How many bidders did not meet the minimum requirement?
For purposes of this report, what the Global Fund is talking about are the 17.
Or the 17. And therefore, Shobika was not an exception, correct? Shobika was not an exception. It never qualified, correct?
Yes.
Now, look at where we have page, at paragraph 105. Yes, can you see where we have Roman B? So we have B. Can you see B? 105, paragraph 105B. Yes, can you read what B says?
The Global Fund document reported that the bid bond for Shobika Impex was not paginated, and the management of KEMSA argued that the bid bond was not part of the bid, but was rather an accompaniment.
What is that? What does that mean?
I think
not thinking, reading and understanding.
It means, and I had said exactly the same, that this document was not submitted as part of the tender document, but was brought in as ordinary mail, while in normal procurement, bid documents
Can you
should
look
be
at
part of the
paragraph 1?
procurement.
Can you go to page 222 and look at paragraph 106?
Notwithstanding KEMSA reservation, in the letter dated 4th May, the acting director procurement recommended the termination of a process.
Yes.
The CEO approved on the 5th, and termination was communicated to all the bidders.
So there was a termination of the bidding process, correct?
Yes.
As a result of non-responsiveness of all the bids, correct? As a result of non-responsiveness.
Yes, after Global Fund differed with the KEMSA Technical Evaluation Committee.
Did the deputy president have anything to do with that?
I would not say.
Would you associate that to the deputy president?
I am not competent to talk about that.
I am asking, do you associate that process with the deputy president?
I cannot comment on that.
You will comment. Do you associate
Because
that?
I don't know.
Here we are not in a hospital, we are in a court, seeking to save the life of a man you want to be impeached. Do you associate that with the deputy president?
I am saying, I don't know.
What don't you know?
Whether this has everything to do with the deputy president. Because the bids were terminated by Global Fund as a result of irregular evaluation.
Irregular evaluation of how many companies?
Of 17.
17 companies. Yes. Thank you. Look at paragraphs 107 at page 22 once again, 222 once again. Yes? 107?
It says it was further a testimony that the authority had struggled to maintain autonomy owing to undue interference from the Cabinet Secretary for Health.
Whose authority, whose testimony is this?
I don't know.
Read paragraph, go to page 219. Page 219. Can you see where you have C submissions by Ms. Terry Ramathani?
Yes.
Therefore, these are statement correct?
And I would not say whether they are correct or not.
Read, Mr. Witness.
They are Terry Ramathani.
So we understand who is now speaking at page paragraph 17, correct?
Yes.
Read it then.
It was further the testimony that the authority had struggled to maintain autonomy owing to undue interference from the Cabinet Secretary for Health.
The authority had failed to maintain autonomy due to the interferences by?
Yes, that is Terry's statement.
Read it.
By the Cabinet Secretary for Health.
Have you seen any interference that indicates that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya interfered with the process?
I have not.
From the report?
And I cannot own or disown.
I'm asking.
It's not my statement.
Have you seen that statement speaking to the person of the Deputy President?
It is not.
Thank you.
Not mine.
And it speaks as to who was interfering with the processes, correct?
That's not my statement.
Read.
But it's not mine.
Yeah, I know it's not yours. That's
so I cannot own a statement that is not mine.
I have not asked you to own it. I've asked you a simple thing, to read the statement as indicated. Who was interfering with the processes and the autonomy of KEMSA? According to that statement.
According to the statement, the Cabinet Secretary for Health.
What is the name of that Cabinet Secretary? As at then?
Not indicated.
Let's proceed as I finish up. Let's go to page 226. At paragraph 136, what is the Assembly's Parliament saying?
In the late April,
he learned
from the Global Fund pre-award
Who
review.
learned?
I don't know.
Look at the submissions at page 225.
Myself.
Who learned?
The acting CEO, which is me.
Who was that?
Me.
What did you learn?
I learned in late April that the Global Fund pre-award review report that the airlines tender was to be cancelled on account of inconsistencies in the bid evaluation.
Do you still maintain the position that you gave, or you want to?
It's exactly what I said.
That's exactly what you say.
Yes.
And therefore that does not link or has no nexus with the deputy president whatsoever, correct?
I think you are wrong.
What did you say?
You are not right on that one.
Read, what does the statement say? What did you say? What did you say in parliament?
It says the Global Fund pre-award review that airline tender was to be cancelled on account of inconsistencies in the evaluation. It is the inconsistencies in evaluation that recommended an award to a bidder that had not paginated documents, which was a mandatory
I have
requirement.
not asked you that question that you are attempting to answer. I have just simply asked you to read what you stated before parliament. Then a question will follow. And you read in verbatim.
I have read.
Yes, read it again.
I learned that the Global Fund pre-award review report that the airline tender was to be cancelled on account of inconsistencies in the bid evaluation. And
what was the reason for the cancellation?
Inconsistencies in evaluation.
In evaluation.
Yes.
Who was evaluating that tender?
Technical Evaluation Committee.
Does the deputy president sit in that tender committee for evaluation?
He doesn't.
Was he involved? Okay, let's look at paragraph 38. Yes? Again, what are you saying at paragraph 138?
And 38 says, he further maintains that the advisory to the PS, State Department of Public Health and Professional Study, on the alleged inconsistency in the technical specification neither passed through his office or the head of department for the strategic programs, but was forwarded directly to the PS by one Dr. Omar, the head of malaria program.
Mr. Witness, you are aware why we are here, yes?
Yes, I am.
Do you understand the charge in respect to this matter that the deputy president is facing?
I am here to...
Do you understand?
I understand.
You understand that you allege that you are intimidated and bullied by the deputy president, correct?
Yes, I understand.
And that is contained in your evidence, correct?
Yes.
Why were you being bullied, if at all it ever happened?
I want to believe.
Not to believe. We are not dealing with beliefs here.
Okay.
We are dealing with the facts.
I was bullied to submit bid document for
documents. When was the tender cancelled?
In late April.
In late April. As at that time, had you joined KEMSA?
I had not.
You had not joined. When were you purportedly called by the deputy president?
In August.
In August. At that time, was the tender alive or it had been cancelled?
Yeah.
At that time, was the tender alive or it had been cancelled? What happens upon the cancellation of a tender to bidders who had submitted their documents?
Bid books are returned.
Bid books are returned.
As a routine process.
As a routine process. Therefore, it is normal for somebody, a company that has bidded, to make follow-ups with the bids, correct?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And that the following of those bids for purposes of returning them to their rightful owner does not violate the Public Procurement and Disposal Act, correct?
I was in KEMSA.
Does not violate, Mr. Witness.
Does not violate.
That's the question. Thank you. Now, Mr. Witness, as I finish up, you understand that you wrote several letters that you have annexed in your affidavit, correct?
Yes.
And the first letter is the one that is appearing in volume 1 of the National Assembly's bundle of document at page 70, correct?
Page
70.
70.
Correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
And that is an alleged, what document is that?
These are WhatsApp conversations between myself and Dr. Ikino Rugathi.
Yes?
WhatsApp conversations between myself and Dr. Ikino Rugathi.
How would you ordinarily be able to tell that this conversation has come from this particular platform?
One, this is on
Which
my
platform was this?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Which number is there? And I want you to specifically look.
The number is already saved. That's why it's written Dr. Ikino Rigathi, because it's already saved on my phone and therefore cannot show the number. If I had not saved the number, you probably would have gotten the number.
When you receive a message from a WhatsApp, when I receive a message on my WhatsApp, when you send me a message, does it indicate the source?
Yes.
Does it also indicate the recipient? Does it indicate the recipient?
If the recipient
does it or does it not?
Whether number or saved a contact.
So in these circumstances, where is your number that indicates that you are the recipient of this message?
There is none.
Yeah. And therefore, this is a concoction of the truth and a fabrication and a forgery of documents.
I've sworn this under oath. My phone is still with me and can be availed to competent agencies of law.
What explanations do you give for the lack of your print of the your phone number in this conversation?
This is what
explanation do you give?
I am not a technical person, so I cannot configure how my phone displays messages.
But you
and
confirm that this is not usual.
This is what is on my phone. If I give you my phone and I open the conversation, it will appear as it is here.
Did you extract a certificate for this purpose? Was a certificate showing the source of this information extracted?
You will need to clarify. I'm a doctor, remember? I don't know what a certificate is.
When you generate a printout from your phone, your advocate is required to certify that this document has been generated or emanated from a particular gadget. Do you see that certificate incorporated in these proceedings?
I said I don't know what that is.
There is none.
Unless my advocate shows.
I therefore put it to you that this never originated from your phone, nor did it originate from my client's son, Dr. Ikino Rigathi.
That's a lie. That's not true.
So what did you find intimidating in this message?
I said, like I said.
Would you read out what the message states?
Dr. Ikino Rigathi here, kindly contact me when possible. There is a document for His Excellency we are trying to collect.
What is Dr. Ikino telling you?
There's a document he's trying to collect.
How is that intimidating?
As an acting CEO.
How is that intimidating? How did you get intimidated by that statement?
I am the one who received the message, Council, and I am the one who felt intimidated. And I am stating before this Honorable Senate that I felt intimidated.
Okay, let's go to the next paragraph, the next page, page 71. What document is that and what is it dated?
This is 12th June, notification for tender for LLINs.
Yes.
12th June 2023 to...
what does the statement read? What's the content of the letter?
Reference is made to the above tender, which we participated in and we were unsuccessful. We wish to collect the original tender documents, that bid bond for the same tender.
Who is the source of that letter?
Shombika.
Shobika.
Yeah.
And what is he saying?
He's saying, kindly issue the original bid bond to the bearer of this letter.
Was that is there anything unusual by as an unsuccessful bidder seeking to have the refund?
Nothing unusual.
Okay, let's go to paragraph, the next page, 72. Again, when is it dated?
30th of June.
What is it? What's the content of the letter?
I am, it's signed by me.
Yes.
To Shobika.
Yes.
And I was replying to their letter.
And what are you saying?
And I'm telling them that want to inform them that the subject tender is under investigation and all the documents related to the tender are not in our custody. And therefore, I also informed them that we wrote to Ethics and the Corruption Commission.
Yes.
To release the original bid bond.
Was the tender returned? Was the bid returned?
It was not immediately returned.
Yes. Did you get a communication from the EACC in that respect?
Not immediately.
What did EACC indicate?
They indicated, and that was way later.
Did the EACC
They
return?
responded. Yes, they responded, but I had to personally follow up.
You
after
personally
the calls.
follow up?
Yes.
But was a bid returned?
I personally picked it after the calls.
When you're forwarding the bid to Shobika, in your letter dated the 11th July, can you see that letter?
Yes.
What did you indicate at the footnote?
I indicated that you may, however, be required to provide the same document as and when required.
For what purpose?
I informed them ESCC had handed over the document.
Have you made any attempts to seek the return of that bid from Shobika?
I am no longer in KEMSA.
You're no longer in KEMSA.
I don't.
Finally, where and what became of your predecessor, Terry Ramathan?
She was discharged from the authority. I think sometimes in.
But you now understand that she's serving as an ambassador in New Delhi, correct?
I cannot confirm.
Do you live in this country?
Yes, I do.
No further questions.
Council for the National Assembly, you may proceed with the re-examination.
Mr. Mulwa, you were referred to certain aspects of the Deputy President's response. And I want to direct you to volume 6. I believe volume 6 of the Assembly's documents, Honorable Speaker, beginning at page 10 of 534. Of 534 to page, I believe it ends at page 13. Mr. Mulwa, looking at those pages, that's the Deputy President's response on the allegations that you have come to testify. In that response, has he disputed that he owns the number you claim he used to make phone calls to you?
No.
In that response, has he disputed that his son Ikinu owns the mobile phone that was used to contact you?
No.
If those two numbers don't belong to him and his son, is that a matter we would have expected him to expressly refute in that response?
Yes.
You also shown in his response several companies that participated in that tender, correct or incorrect?
Correct.
As the Deputy President intervened for any of those others except Shobika, which is linked to him?
Not a single one for the whole period that I was in KEMSA, except that one.
Should we take it again that it's a coincidence out of several international companies? The one he was harassing you about was the one linked to his own company, Crystal.
It's not a coincidence.
As a matter of fact, in that response, I'm trying to open the clause, Mr. Speaker. Clause 4.3 of his response, no, Yes, 4.3 on page 11 of 534. What does the Deputy President say in his response to the charge you have come to testify?
I am aware of a foreign company known as Shombika Impex Private Limited, domiciled in India, which appointed Crystal Kenya Limited, where my son is a managing director, as its agent in Kenya in 2014. To date, Crystal Kenya Limited has complied with agency terms between itself and Shombika Impex Limited. And there is Annex RG 18, an appointment agency letter by Shombika Impex Limited.
Is that an admission by the Deputy President himself that there is a link between Christo, his company, and Shombika?
Yes.
You were asked about the confiscation of the billboard by the EACC. You recall those questions?
Yes.
Was Shombika's the only billboard the EACC was holding?
No.
Which other billboards was it holding?
They were holding all the bid bonds for the 17 companies that had bidded in the tender.
So, in his response, as the Deputy President explained why it was necessary, if all the bid bonds are confiscated, for the one for Shombika to be released.
Not any that I've seen.
Of those 17 companies, which one was recommended for the award of the tender?
Shombika Impex.
Which one was awarded after the cancellation and the repeat?
The tender was cancelled and the procurement was done, was directed
Because we want to object to that line of questioning. That never came in my cross-examination. He's opening new crowds. He has to limit himself to the content of my cross-examination.
Objection overruled. Proceed, Counsel for the National Assembly.
Mr. Speaker, I even lost my voice during the...
You had asked the procurement. The procurement was done by the Global Fund in Geneva.
Yes.
Through their global system, WAMBO. And the tender was awarded to one of the companies that had bidded, based in Tanzania, I cannot remember the name, and another one from India, I think Yokur or something, through the Global Fund system.
You have been told, sir, that your testimony is a concoction. Is your testimony and your affidavit before this Senate a concoction?
What I have submitted in before the Senate is the truth and supported by documentary support.
Has any basis been laid in the response by the Deputy President or in his cross-examination to warrant the conclusion that you have concocted your testimony?
Not any that I have.
But Dr. Would you have any reason or motivation, remembering your own oath, to concoct lies? Reason been proffered why you would concoct any lie against the Deputy President?
No.
Lastly, sir, has any material been placed on record to show any of the averments in your affidavit is a concoction or inaccurate?
No.
That's all for purposes of re-exam. My colleague will put just one question, then we'll rest this witness. Mawera will do it now that he's next to me.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Boniface Mawira. Daktari, just one question. You asked whether Kenya lost money as a result of that tender cancellation. What is your response? Yes. How did Kenya lose money? KEMSA, as a government agency, gets its revenue from fees charged for procurement, warehousing, and distribution of products that they procure on behalf of partners. And for this particular case, KEMSA lost procurement fees, which was coming to about 55 million Kenya shillings. Thank you. That is all for this witness, Mr. Speaker.
Counsel for the National Assembly, are you done with the witness?
No, Mr. Speaker, sir, we still have a further
No,
two
this particular,
witnesses.
This particular witness.
Yes, we are done with this particular witness.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Now, honorable senators, it is time for you to seek clarification. But have you've noticed we've had such a long day. Now, it has been indicated to me that tomorrow the Deputy President does not intend to call any witness. Is that the position?
Not entirely, not entirely, Honorable Speaker. He is the witness.
Other than him, I mean.
Yes, of course, yes. I just wanted to be clear on the language. Yes, he is the witness.
Because that's what I meant. Meaning we'll have some latitude tomorrow. You are very tired. The teams are tired. If you can be able to have the two witnesses, that is the main witness, the first witness, and the second witness, for purposes of the senators to seek clarifications first thing in the morning. We clear them, and then we take the two witnesses, and then we hear the Deputy President. There can never be just one, because everyone would wish to talk. And that's what I'm asking. You will have that round tomorrow morning. Senator Fernandi, you will speak, because the witness will be available. The witness will be available. All these two witnesses will be available. So you'll be able, Senator Fernandi, you will be able. Senator Fernandi, when the chair is talking, you keep quiet. You're out of order, Senator Fernandi. And you know exactly what happens when a senator is out of order. Senator Fernandi, Senator Fernandi, when I'm speaking, you keep quiet. I'm cautioning you. And therefore, I direct, as the chair, more honorable senators will have an opportunity to seek clarifications from these two witnesses first, when we resume at 9. Once the honorable senators are done seeking clarification for these two witnesses, then we are going to hear the remaining two witnesses by the National Assembly, and thereafter we'll move to hear the Deputy President. That is the directions. Honorable senators, it is now 11:12 p.m. time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, the 17th of October, 2024 at 9 a.m.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. You heard it. The Senate will adjourn for the day till tomorrow 9 a.m. So I'll come back with my analysis in about an hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours from now. I'll have another session. Then probably we'll have another session tomorrow when we'll have the D-Day at the Senate, where the Senate will actually vote to impeach or not to impeach Gachagua. So yeah, meet me here in 2 hours. I'll see you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel is on YouTube. It's called Kenya Revolutionary, or you can follow me on Twitter or X. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. So subscribe to my channel, like, share, comment, and do all the good stuff. I'll see you guys in 2 hours, where we'll talk about what transpired today at the Senate. All right. Thank you, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.